and welcome to the Book Broads. The podcast was recorded on Sunday, September 27th at Word on the Street in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I'm Kimberly Plumley, and today I'm talking with Robert Wiersema, author of The World More Full of Weeping by Chizine. Hi, Rob.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm so excited about your new book.
I am too.
Really?
Well, it's an odd thing because I wasn't expecting this book to happen. It just kind of did.
Why is that?
Well, I'm under contract with Random House for another novel, Before I Wake, and this new one. We're a 2-book deal, and I was supposed to be writing a new book and didn't end up writing it quite as soon as I should have, and instead I was writing short fiction, including 2 novellas, and novellas they're the third rail as far as fiction goes. You touch them and you die. Nobody wants them. They don't fit in journals. They don't fit in genre magazines. I don't fit in genre magazines anyhow. And so I figured that it was just going to sit in the drawer. And I ended up becoming acquaintances with Brett Savory at Chizine, and submitted a couple of things to his online magazine, Chiaroscuro. Okay. And one of them was this novella, because, online magazine, no restrictions on length. Sounded like a good idea to me. Okay. And I met him for 10 to 12 on a Thursday in Toronto last November, and I met him for coffee, and we ended up in a bar.
Really?
It was after 12. Okay. That almost never happens to me, for the record. And he pulled out these 2 books, which were the first 2 books of Chizine Press, which was an outgrowth of the magazine. And I appropriately oohed and awed because they were quite lovely. And he said, "Well, I'm glad you like them because we want to publish your novella." And into the second pint, we had a deal, and then I called my agent and broke the news.
I was thinking about that.
Well, yeah, you have to, we've got the handshake, everything's in play, and I have to call my agent, and I have to call my publisher who I'm contracted to, and, make it all work. But 10 months later, the book is in stores, and I'm really happy about it. Wow. Surprise.
Wow. That is fantastic. And it's just, who knew, right?
Well, exactly. It's synchronicity, fluke, whatever you want to call it.
Fantastic. So you're working on another book.
I am.
And plus novellas.
And everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, the new novel should be out next fall.
Okay.
That's if I manage to get it in sometime in the very near future.
Yeah, deadlines are great, aren't they?
Well, I'm increasingly of the Douglas Adams school of thought. Douglas Adams, when asked about deadlines, said, "I love deadlines. I love the whooshing sound they make as they go past." And having blown off, I think I'm up to 13 now.
Great.
Yeah, well, originally the new novel was due the summer of 2006, and the new book was going to come out the year after Before I Wake. And that was the first deadline I blew off.
Great.
There have been 12 other ones, including one just this past week.
Okay.
I'm expecting phone calls tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you're busy. You do a lot. I think you eat, sleep, breathe books.
Or something. It's a busy. It's
a
mix for busy days.
So you are the event manager for Bullen's Books in Victoria.
Yeah.
You do amazing events, bring in amazing authors. I'm just always in awe. I'm in awe of the store too. I love the kids section in the store and the game section. It's an amazing store.
I'll take all the credit for all of that.
Fantastic. And you're also do a lot of reviews of books. You're always in the Vancouver Sun. You just have been in yesterday.
Yep.
How do you find time?
I used to joke that I neglected my family. Turns out not so much a joke, actually. No, I don't have much of a social life. I don't do much else other than read and
just
write.
Be connected. Yeah.
I don't sleep very much.
Ah.
It starts to take a toll.
Yes, because I noticed on your Facebook that you were out early, working early.
Early. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Very
early. Okay, there you go. I was just thinking about Before I Wake and the new book. The main characters, it really revolves around children.
Mm-hmm.
Why children?
I write what I fear. And I didn't really put a conscious thought to that until after Before I Wake came out. And I write out of fear. And Before I Wake had its seeds in a story that I read in the Vancouver Sun about a little girl who had fallen into the family swimming pool and died and was brought back. And miracles started to happen around her. And this got out, and the family turned into a pilgrimage site and things like that. So I read it and I filed it away into the back file where the possible stories go. And then my wife informed me that we were expecting. And I flipped. I mean, I'm not normally a glass half full kind of guy, but at that point it went to, there's no glass, there's never going to be a glass. What am I going to do if this glass breaks?
Oh.
And it went into worst case scenarios. And I mean, it's just how I process. If you can imagine the worst thing possible, you can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how Before I Wake started. I wrote it in 3 months, just in this white heat of fear. And it's the same with The World More Full of Weeping. I wrote it summer of 2007, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I seemed to look 3 years ahead. At that point, I wrote Before I Wake, before Xander was born. The child in question there was 2.5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote The World More Full of Weeping when Xander was 7. The child in that one was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And in that one, I'm afraid of still losing a child. And it may not
Now,
match.
I wanted to actually ask you a question. Your mother said that she found you. Was that in your bio? What's that about?
Oh, that's an old bio for an online magazine called The Green Man Review.
Okay.
And I did some reviewing for them. And I said, well, can you write a little something about yourself? There is nothing more boring and more difficult for a writer to write than their own bio notes. Like, it's impossible to strike a balance. So with that one, I threw the balance out the window. No, she didn't find me under a rock, and I never actually worked in a circus. I do neglect the lawn, though.
There you go. It was very good. Oh, thanks so much.
Oh,
we really
thank you.
appreciate talking to you, and good luck with the book and have some fun today.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
The Book Broads are Angela Crocker.
Kimberly Plumley.
And Peggy Richardson.
Together we write, speak, and consult on publishing, marketing, social media, and publicity in the world of books.
Head on over to thebookbroads.com for more podcasts, blog posts, and details about how to find us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
The Book Broads can be found in the real world wherever words are celebrated. Meet the Broads at Book Camp Vancouver, the Surrey International Writers Conference, and the Making a Scene Conference in October. The end.
end.